Sixto. There could not be a better name.
I love the names on this team. They have Sixto Sanchez, and they have my favorite name probably in baseball right now, Jazz Chisholm.
To win a championship, not only do you need great players on the court, but you need good chemistry, which takes time to develop.
It's weird how the dynamic works between sports. But
showing emotion in baseball is terrible and should never be in the game.
Blame Luke Walton for that. They have a lot of young players that I believe can really excel in this league.
Corey Perry will give some veteran presence to the Canadians and to just help give some insights on what he did last year.
Justin Fields is a all-time talent, and we definitely need to take into consideration his health.
This was a trade that the Senators really hope would work out, as Matt Murray has won the Cup 2 times.
Even though this is Mr. Irrelevant, he may be Mr. Playing Time after this season's over.
Just amazing, and I don't care what the Red Sox got for trading Mookie Betts and David Price. The Dodgers, in my opinion, win it. I don't have to see what players they gave up.
Charlie McAvoy also is, I think, a Norris contender, a top 5 Norris contender this year.
When Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones make jokes about not valuing the safety position, well, we can make jokes about you not being in Super Bowl for 20-something years, but
I feel like Luka will take that next step, and if he can get a 3 ball consistently around 35%, I feel like they could become a contender.
It just goes to show the offense for the Dallas Stars could not keep up, and when the defense needed to step up, the Lightning's offense just overpowered them.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov, that was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
What's up, everyone? This is Justin Goldman from the Goalie Guild and Lift the Mask, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week for January 15th. NHL games still getting postponed. I don't know how the NHL is going to do it. We've talked about it a lot. Just, do they shut down the season? I think they're kind of past the point of shutting down the season, because I think they're just going to go, hey, we're just going to keep putting these games off. We'll figure out how to reschedule it, and it's going to be interesting how that goes, and then the playoffs. So my opinion really hasn't changed, except I've kind of just accepted the fact that they're just going to postpone games, but they're not going to shut down. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to shut down, but it is going to be hard with all of these games. I've seen that they have 95 games scheduled for the period that was supposed to be the Olympics. So, yeah, they have a lot of work to do to finish this season on time, but they're trying their hardest.
Yeah, and now they're going to have an all-star game, which is interesting, because you have a bunch of COVID spreading around, canceling so much. Like, how many alternates are there going to be? Because, like, what happens if a star player gets COVID? Like, I think you should go, hey, here's our all-star players. We're not going to do a game. But they are not doing that, and we have teams. So do you want to go through each division and list all-star appearances, or just some stuff that stuck out to you?
I think we can go through it. I can start. I have it pulled up as well. Let's start off with the Atlantic. There's Austin Matthews for Toronto, Drake Batherson for Ottawa, Dylan Larkin for Detroit, Jonathan Huberdeau for Florida, Patrice Bergeron for Boston, Nick Suzuki for Montreal, Rasmus Dahlin for Buffalo, Victor Hedman for Tampa, Andre Vasilevsky for Tampa, and Jack Campbell for Tampa. These are always questionable in my mind, because I think Brad Marchand was the best player on Boston, or has been this season. I just don't like that you get a player no matter how good your team is or how good the player is. There's a lot of people out there, I feel like, that deserve to play an all-star appearance that I don't think got it. And I may be a little bit biased with some of mine. Like, I believe Bergeron and Marchand should have got it. And, I mean, if you really want to talk about it, there's a talk there for Pastrnak. Even though Pastrnak doesn't have as many points as games played, he does have 18 goals, which is really impressive. I don't know. Drake Batherson is an interesting choice for me. They did have to have somebody in there, but he only has 33 points in 28 games. And while he does have a lot of points per game, he's only played 28 games. And he's missed a lot of games. I don't know necessarily if that's deserving of it, but the NHL obviously thinks that every team deserves a a representative, but I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you think every team should get a player?
Well, that's always been off. That's always messed with me a little bit because I'm used to, like, I follow the NFL and then I started following like MLB and NHL where they have, yeah, you have one person per team that has to get voted. So even if a team's terrible, like the Rangers had 3 All-Stars last year. Or no, it was just, wasn't it 3? We had 2. We definitely had 2. We had Garcia and Gallo. I don't know who the third person was. Or I totally
I don't
missed.
remember.
Okay, I just know Adolis Garcia and Gallo. So, and while in the NFL and the NBA, it's mostly a lot of players from the teams that are the best, which makes sense. They all are
Yeah, the
having
NFL, there
masterpieces.
are multiple teams without a player. I don't think the Texans had a player, and
Do the
other teams.
Jaguars have a player?
I think they're kicker, but I
Oh,
don't
the
remember.
kicker?
I don't remember the Jaguars. I could. I don't really remember the Jaguars had a.
Lions? Like,
We'll talk about this when we go
well, yeah,
over
no, no,
Pro
no.
Bowl
I'm
week.
just saying, like, if you like, you would have one player from the Lions. Like, I don't know who it would be, or like the Jaguars or the Texans.
Yeah, I just don't think it's the right way. Also, Nick Suzuki, who's going to be a great player in this league, only has 22 points in 39 games and is just not playing well. No one on Montreal is, and the fact that Marshawn missed is when he makes it's just a very questionable choice. I know they're trying to get everyone. Oh, every team has a player. Come support your one player, but it's just a little maddening to see players who obviously deserve it not get it. And that's why in some sports it just doesn't matter all-star appearances. They just don't matter. Like when you talk about all-time greats, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, and especially like NFL for one to do that, but then I sort of agree with sorry, with your point, but I'm not totally one sided. It's just always bothered me. So, can you do the Central Division?
You want me to go Central or Metropolitan?
Whichever one. I just am not speaking right now well. So just
Okay,
give me
I'll,
a
I'll do
second.
Metropolitan next because that's next in mine. We have Ovi for Washington, Claude Giroux for Philadelphia, Chris Kreider for the Rangers, Sebastian Aho for Carolina, Jack Hughes for the Devils, Adam Fox for the Rangers, Adam Pellick for the Islanders, Zach Werenski for the Blue Jackets, Tristan Jarry for Pittsburgh, and Frederick Anderson for Carolina. There isn't that many bad ones. Questionable with like Jack Hughes because he's missed a good bit of games from what I remember. I'll just check to make sure that that's actually the case. Um, yeah, he's only played 21 games. I'm right. He has 21 points in 21 games, but he's only played 21 games. A lot of teams have played 40. So I just don't think that's enough games to actually prove that someone is an actual all-star missing that many games. And like I know he has points per game, but that doesn't really matter when you're missing that many games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, nothing too bad. Now I think we can move on to the Central Division.
Yeah, there's Nathan McKinnon for Colorado, Alex DeBrincat for Chicago, Clayton Keller for Arizona, Joe Pavelski for Dallas, Kirill Kaprizov for Minnesota, Kyle Connor for Winnipeg, Jordan Kyrou for St. Louis, Cale Makar for Colorado, Cam Talbot for Minnesota, and UC Saros for Nashville. This honestly is probably the best one. I know Clayton Keller may be questionable to some people, but he's better than the stats show. He didn't have being on Arizona, he does not have the greatest opportunities to get points and score goals like some other players are afforded the opportunity. He has 30 points in 38 games. I do think he deserves it, even though his points aren't really everything, even if you're a forward. I love the addition of Joe Pavelski. He deserves it anyway. He has 39 points in 37 games. For some reason, Joe Pavelski just decided not to age. He's the best player on the Stars, and
Captain
that says
America.
something when you're that old. Yeah, Captain
Captain
America.
America.
I wish like guys like Jason Robinson would have made it,
That's
but
what I thought too.
I don't really see where he fits. Like again, I like Clayton Keller being here. I think he deserved it, and because of that, Kyle Connor's questionable. Jordan Kyrou's questionable. Uh,
Yeah, I agree.
it's close. A lot of these guys like Kyrie's not terrible. Like he's obviously a good player. None of these guys that made it to the All Star game are terrible. It's just it's nitpicking, especially with this team, because like Jordan Kyrou, he has 39 points in 35 games. He's missed some games too, but he's playing well. It's just the team's not playing well, and that's the same thing with Clayton Keller. So it's like it's where do you like value winning? Because at some point you just got to realize like this player is just that good. Kyle Connor has 40 points in 36 games. Like they're both playing well, but their teams are kind of struggling on and off. So yeah, this is definitely the one where I don't see where you put another player in. Uh, it's close, but I don't see a player that doesn't deserve to be here, especially because again, points don't mean everything.
Yeah, I agree. I know Robertson. I know Pavelski is incredible with points, but there are some players on the Stars where they don't really get a lot of points, and Pavelski is part of one of the best lines with Robertson and Hintz. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because
So
Robertson has 35 points in 29 games, which is more impressive than either Kyle Connor or Jordan Kyrou, which is why I mentioned their names. It's not like they don't deserve it, but Jason Robinson's been very, very good this year, and him, Rope Hintz, and uh,
Pavelski.
Pavelski are really the reason why the Stars are in a playoff picture. Um, and their team may go on a hot run because if that line gets hot, you score 6 goals. Like
And
that's just we've seen it
and they
before.
were getting a good second line with Ben. I think it was Ben, Sagan, and Guryanov. But then Guryanov got injured. So if that second line can get up, then I definitely agree with you. I'm fingers crossed, as
It's
there are some trade rumors with John Klingberg and the Stars. They haven't come to an extension, so the Stars may move off Klingberg, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's also because Klingberg's requested a trade because of him not being really included in the future plans because of how much money he's going to be worth in the future. I don't know necessarily if they should make that trade, but they
It depends what you get,
it's yeah,
because
and
they're outside of that run to the Stanley Cup. The Stars really haven't done much in in the playoffs. Like, and I think if when you're dedicating so much money to two great defenders in Miro and Klingberg, I think there are other problems that can be solved. If you trade Klingberg and get a lot of players back, you free up that cap space, because the Stars are definitely against the cap when you have players like Pavelski, like Ben, like Sagan, like Radulov, and it's something. It depends what I get. I don't want to trade him just to trade him. I want to get a good deal and then make me okay with it. But we're getting a little sidetrack.
well,
There are
just one
some,
more thing.
yeah.
I just wanted to mention that yeah, with it's kind of crazy to me that the best line one of the best lines in the league, for that matter, has a weird connection between a 37-year-old and then two young guys, a 22-year-old Jason Robertson and a 25-year-old Rope Hance. It's just a weird makeup of a line. Normally, you get like the perfection line, which is called. I don't really agree with it because they're not perfect. I don't really believe in perfection like that. But you know, Bergeron, who's older, Pasternak, who's not really all that old, but still is one of those star players. And then you got Marchand. So like, it's a better it's like the age difference isn't crazy, but when you see a 37, 22, and 25, it seems a little weird them all being on the same line and being a top five line in all of hockey.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then there's some names that pop out to me on the specific division, so I'm just going to list that. Leon Draisaitl, Jordan Eberle, Johnny Gaudreau, Adrian Kemp, Connor McDavid, Timo Meyer, Mark Stone, Troy Terry, Alex Petrangelo, John Gibson, and Thatcher Demko. Mark Stone sticks out to me. Like, Mark Stone is great, but um, he's been injured for most of the season, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, and another one that is questionable to me is Adrian Kempe. He is both of those guys are questionable. I think a guy that should have made it. I know they only go two goalies for every team, but I think Jonathan Quick should have made it. He's performed very well compared to Thatcher Demko. Thatcher Demko has uh, a 917 save percentage. Jonathan Quick has a 912 or 914. I mean, but Jonathan Quick has a lower goals against average with a 256 compared to the 262 by Thatcher Demko. And Thatcher Demko only has one shutout, while Jonathan Quick this season has two. Um, I know they couldn't for some reason choose three goalies, even though on some teams they only have one defenseman. I think they should have gone with 3 goalies, and Jonathan Quick made it for the Kings, he's really been their best player in my mind, him and Anze Kopitar.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Any final thoughts for the NHL, Austin?
No, I don't think they should play the All-Star game. I agree with you for that, but if they do, hopefully everyone stays safe and no one gets COVID.
Yeah, like we'll see what happens after the All-Star game if there are more postponements. So we'll keep you updated on that. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.